are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
This episode is brought to you by North Spore. Ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the forest floor? What if I told you there's a hidden kingdom waiting to be explored right in your own home? North Spore is your getaway to this magical world. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned mycologist, North Spore has everything you need to cultivate culinary delights, medicinal powerhouses, and even a little mind-expanding magic. Unlock the power of fungi with their top-notch spawn, easy-to-use kits, and a treasure trove of knowledge. If you're ready to embark on your mushroom journey, visit northspore.com and discover a community of passionate growers, expert resources, and endless possibilities. It's time to tap into the ancient wisdom of fungi and transform your world. Be sure to use code PROFESSIONALHIPPIES for a very special discount to fuel your fungal exploration. North Spore, where wonder grows. What's up, all you hippies? Welcome back. Hey, it's just as good for us as it is maybe for you. All the way from across the world, seemingly, but actually, we're back in the saddle. Whether you knew it or not, we pre-recorded some stuff, but this right here is something I've been looking forward to all month. Dylon came back, hit the ground, said, "It's good to be back." I said, "Don't tell me anything." We've actually had near radio silence when it comes to the communication. This man going undercover as an American, there's probably nothing undercover about, but all the way from Bulgaria, spending a month in the motherland. Welcome back, Dylon Whitten.
Woo! What's a kilometer, baby?
Doing, sir?
That was one awesome trip. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
sure.
Man.
It was awesome being there, but way, way different than anything I've ever done in my life.
How long were you over there?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what thread to pull at first.
I've never been to the other side of the world at all, and I decided to throw myself into the heart of it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Going right into the center of it.
What was your first, like, when you got there? What was your first, like, culture shock moment?
The first, I guess, a little bit of a culture shock moment was we get there and the flight got a little delayed, so I got there past midnight, and so the subway stations there had already closed before midnight, so we had to get a taxi back home.
Mm-hmm.
Or back to where we were staying.
Yeah.
It's not a big one, but it's a little one, you know, just like interesting is that when we got into the taxi, they cover the back seat. Like, you know how you cover your seats so you could protect them and nothing. Yeah. They just cover the entire back seat. So there's no seat belts that you're wearing in the back seat there. And then he was flying down the interstate to get back home. To get us to our destination. So I was like, oh, this place is about money. All right, we're just getting to the next destination and make it. She was communicating in Bulgarian, of course, with the taxi driver. All was fine, but just, you know, the first part was like, all right, awesome. This is no sense of, you know, safety. I can get that. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
So that was like
how nice was that for your wife to be able to probably speak?
Having that was amazing. Like having her be able to communicate to everybody when I couldn't, or, you know, some sense that was awesome to have, you know, because I mean, I'm sure I could have made it by, but, you know, most people there aren't really speaking English or have a little bit, you know, if they can speak English there. Taking English classes there is very expensive, I found out. So
really?
Like, yeah, if you want to learn English there, you actually got to pay like a lot of money to go do that, unless you're doing it on your own somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, just having her to be able to do that and just like understand the levs and like, because levs is their currency there, and be able to do that was very awesome. I'll tell you, levs is there like our dollar.
Right.
Levs is there like
I've never heard. Yeah, I've never heard that currency.
They're going to switch to the EU, the euro soon, which is unfortunate because it was very affordable as an American to be there.
Why are they switching? So that means they're joining the European Union, right?
They're part of the European Union now. Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah, unless they get kicked out. But yeah, they're part of it.
Huh.
I don't know why. I would, after I realized they're gonna have to switch to the euro, I was just like, I wouldn't do that. That sounds
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. I was just thinking of that as like, I thought, I mean, this is just stupid American, but I thought all the countries that are a part of the European Union use the euro. But
I think it's getting acclimated to it. Like it's next year, I think that they're like whatever that acclimation transition time frame is, it's next year that they're being moved into
it's
it.
not
'Cause-
like the NAFTA agreement where you have the peso, the dollar, and Canadian dollar,
no,
right?
no,
Because that's
everyone
like a trade agreement. That's
there's like a time
union.
frame. Yeah, like hey, you could come join, but within the next 5 years, you have to make the transition over
Gotcha.
to the
Okay.
euro. So I think what I found out towards the end of the trip is like next year I think they're just switching over the euro, which kind of sucks because like as an American, I was like, man, this would be a great little vacation spot, pretty affordable on everything. You get a almost 3 liters of beer for $2, 2 levs, not $2, 2 levs, by the way. So that would be like $1.50.
Oh, nice.
I was just like, this is awesome.
So
Is it
wheels,
great?
so wheels land, right? And it's you got in at night, right? So you wake up, you're in the city, like the capital, or where are you at?
Yeah, so Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria. It's like
Okay.
Washington, D.C. So Sofia is their capital. And so the next day, let's say I wake up, the first thing I notice is that there's what's called the blocks, the buildings. So there's just tall gray buildings
Okay.
everywhere, and that's and I go, oh, Russia, Soviet Union, got it. USSR, we are here,
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So because Bulgaria was, the Soviet Union had Bulgaria for a while. They just had to run under that government. And so I first noticed that. And so you have to I learned how these blocks, they call them blocks, work. And so there's like, the best way to describe this is like little communities. Like there's like 4 or 5 blocks. So there's like the blocks of 3 So there's like 6 buildings in block 3. Let's say I'm throwing out a number. 8 blocks in area 4, and then you can kind of tell like when they were built because like block 3 was built in like, for example, the 80s. The block 4 was block areas built in the 70s, something like that. So they each have their own. How these work now is that building block. Let's say it's an average of 8 stories high, right? It'll have 4 to 5 different entrances getting into this building. Each entrance, let's say I'm walking into one entrance, I go straight ahead. There will be an elevator that takes you up. The elevators, by the way, do not how they close, close. It doesn't close. You just have the opening of going to each floor through there.
Oh, it's just one of those that just is constantly going?
No, it doesn't constantly go. You press the button and the thing starts flowing. The elevator is just so close to the door and the wall that you could get stuck if your dress hits it and somehow gets sucked down in there, but you just know to stay away from that
feels sketchy.
Door. All the old ones are like that. Maybe a newer one isn't. Like we stayed in a newer building, but
sure, no, fact remains. Feels sketchy.
Yeah, so it stays there like that. So you walk in and you go up the elevator, whichever floor you want to go on. There would be an apartment right to the left, an apartment to the right, and usually one straight ahead from there. So there'd be like 3 in each entrance going up 8 floors. You cannot access the rest of the building like you would think like a hallway. So that's when I say there's like 4 entrances to each of these buildings.
Yeah.
You enter it and then now you go up and then there's 3 apartments on each floor.
Gotcha.
If you want to go to your friend's place in unit 2 or whatever, you got to go down, back out, and go up. Right? Now think of the middle ones from what she told me is like the studio type apartments where it's like they have the one, we all know what a studio looks like. All right. So then let's go to a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment. Okay. The 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment, it'll have a bedroom and then a living room. The living room might have the kitchen as a part of it, or the kitchen might be off. Kind of depends on how they were built. It's considered a 3-bedroom because someone could actually live in the living room.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
So that's how they consider that. And so you have to imagine if you're living in like an apartment style college dorm room setup, that's where families are growing up. That's just how it is. Like, you are in a very small, confined location.
Yeah.
In that. So because of that, like, that's normal.
Seems practical, by the way, to say. I mean, how many rooms are in this location?
So think of that, right? This is just, think of like one building. Let's say we have 8 floors, and now and this is one section. Like, let's think of one section of the building. There's 8 floors, and then there's 3. So that's 24 apartments in this one. Now think of 4 entrances. That's 16, 8, 96 apartments, right? A third of those are going to be studio, and then the side ones are going to be families, basically.
Yeah.
So that's like, think about how many families are living there, in that,
a lot of families.
That area.
A lot of families.
So a lot of people there we lived on like a corner, and I walked around a lot. It was so hot during that. Well, to them, it was very hot, right? During the day. I was like, this feels like 70-degree weather, because it was so dry there. But
yeah,
so many people come outside because it's such a confined space that like a lot of people come outside with their kids to go play in the parks. Each little area had like different playground. You know how like we would enjoy as kids to go play on the playground, but it would be at like the school or like maybe a local park. We had to drive to the park.
Mm-hmm.
Each of these block areas had a little kids park in each of the locations in that area. So all the parents come outside around like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they're all like, everyone's smoking cigarettes. Every single person. There's not a single person not smoking a cigarette there. If you're not smoking a cigarette, like, what are you doing, man?
Right.
So, or they're drinking a beer and smoking their cigarette. So everyone kind of comes out around 7 or 8 o'clock because it's cooled down and enjoys like the time outside to do that, which I thought was neat because everyone's enjoying time outside.
For sure.
To do that. But that's the caveat to having such a confined space that you're living in, is you go.
And you're staying in Airbnb, right?
An Airbnb that's kind of like one of these apartments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Christy rented, let's say, a 3-bedroom apartment while we were there. And she got one with AC.
How many of them don't have AC? That was something
almost all of them. Almost a lot of them do have AC, but you have to pay for the unit now to be added in.
Right.
And it's not like you're adding an AC unit. I just want to let you know, it's like if you combine both of these pictures and like just put them side, that's the length of like one little AC unit, and it goes up on the wall, and it basically takes care of the room, like the living room.
Are you talking about like a mini split, like I had my Airbnb, or like a wall unit, like put in a window? Like
a wall unit you could put in the window, but it just stays. Like some people have the wall unit you can just put in a window, but most people now just have one where it goes inside and blares, and it's just like it's an electric style. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it doesn't. They have the water just that sends water dripping outside. Like they just have it inside and it drips outside, right? We ended up going to a store to look at these. These things are hella expensive if you want to put it in your house. I can't remember the number, but it's a number that you looked at and you're like, that's like, is AC worth it?
Yeah. But the temperatures are pretty like moderate enough to get by without AC.
Yeah. Well, we were there as one of the hottest times they've had all year. Okay. Right. So like you can get by. A lot of people just keep their windows open. So you have the breeze coming through, of course, and everything, but you cook in one of those rooms, like the heat from the oven's going to make everything hot.
Oh yeah.
Type of place.
Yeah.
So it's you could get by, but most of the year it's pretty cool up there. That's the other thing too, is like, do you have your AC running?
What weird question. What the air smell like? I feel like when you visit a country, you can smell their spices from the cooking. Like you can kind of like smell.
I did not really smell much, surprisingly. Really? Like there really wasn't much smell going on. You could smell though when we went out into the we went like out to the like 3 hours out from the city for an experience to go stay at another village out there, and the air smell, the quality of air out there was amazing. Like that was some good old quality air right there.
Yeah.
That was just a nice difference on that. But when you got into the city, it wasn't, even though like in a quality city like that, it wasn't very pollutant because it wasn't a bunch. It's a bunch of like small cars there. It's
Yeah.
not a bunch of like bigger vehicles where they're
Yeah, you're
putting
not
off
fitting a
tons.
Ford probably on those streets.
No, they do have Fords. It's kind of like the smaller Fords, though. You know, like
Yeah, I'm talking like a regular truck, right?
yeah,
Like
you're not. There's no trucks there.
Yeah.
We were driving down the highway, and I about broke my neck when I saw a Raptor go by me. I was like, what? That dude's got money. I just want to let you know, if you want to know where Bulgaria's money is, it went right by us there.
Yeah. I think that I had a similar experience. I don't remember what country I was in. I think it was Costa Rica, and I saw a raptor. And I don't know if it was Costa Rica. Whatever. One country in South America where I was learning about the import tax or the tariff. So one thing, if you want to take your raptor from America and drive it down to Belize, right? You're just touring. But if you want to register it, that's when that whole world that we never think about with imports and the tariff, the 40. So it's like a raptor there. I don't know what they would pay to like register it, but it's got to be a fair amount of fucking money.
Yeah, they had quite a like it was obvious when you were in nicer areas too, because like you could just tell the level of vehicles went up dramatically within the city. Like there almost so many people drive BMWs and Audis, but because of like that, the world BMWs and Audis are so common over there. There's so many people with like that's the fifth owner, but like so many people are driving them around, you know, like so many kids are also driving around. Christy made a point too. I was like, man, there's so many like kids driving Audis and BMWs here. She's like, yeah, it's probably like the fifth or sixth owner of that vehicle. That's just like,
they're probably a lot more affordable over there.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a way more affordable vehicle to have. Like having a Ford over there, which there was a Ford dealership over there. There was a, you know, that I saw, but it wasn't a parking lot full of F-150s.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like like I had a friend that bought a Volkswagen overseas, and it was like not half the price, but for like a brand new loaded out whatever Volkswagen, it was like 25 grand or something like that.
Dude, I saw something that Volkswagen does, and I looked into it, and they do it, is if you want to buy a Volkswagen over there, they will pay for you for a trip to go to their facility, pay for your hotel. You can test drive their vehicle for like 2 weeks. And then if you buy it while you're there, they'll ship it over for you back over there and pay for the flight back, because it's cheaper to do all that than it is to pay the taxes to ship over a new vehicle. And then when it gets over here, you can register it as a used vehicle instead of a new vehicle, which is also cheaper.
How'd you even find that out? What?
I just saw something on social media. I was scrolling through, and I was like, someone said you could do this, and I was like, what? And I looked into it. And
Did your social media feed change when you were over there?
It took about a week and a half, and then I started getting tons of Balkans like stuff through it. Yeah, it started taking about a week and a half.
Bulgarians are called Balkans.
They're part of the Balkans, yeah.
Okay.
So like the whole Eastern European area. I mean, Serbia, Greece, Bulgaria, of course. I those are the ones off the top of my head. But
yeah.
What
was kind of like the most surprising thing for you?
The most surprising was how clean everything was there. Like there wasn't a lot of trash. I thought there would be tons of trash everywhere.
Is Bulgaria like doing well economically? Or
so here's what I learned from. I'll tell you why. Yes, they are doing, I think, better. Yes and no. So I thought there was gonna be a ton of trash everywhere just because of big city. You know, we're going to Sofia, and turns out there wasn't. Everything was clean, and even she was very surprised by that. She was like, "This is not what it used to be like." You know, you go to New York, there's trash everywhere. You go to Chicago, there's trash everywhere, right? And I was like, "This looks clean," but a lot of the buildings just look run down.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no all of our buildings in the US all look nice and up to date, and all your taxes from the city go to keeping buildings up to date. That did not what it looked like. You could be like, everything's a little run down, but then like someone has this shop running and they take care of their little space. Like, what do I own from this shop? Sure. That's going to look nice, you know? And what also happens is all the blocks and buildings around there. If you wanted your building to be painted, let's say there was the block with all 4 entrances, right? you would have to get your entire building section to agree to painting it a new color or putting something like that, right? So if you wanted blue, there would be like an HOA person running each section. They just it's not really an HOA, it's just someone that manages. You would have to get your entire section. So some buildings will be like either side will be all run down, but this one little strip of the building will be nice and updated in there.
Everybody got on the same page.
So you could tell what areas have like people that agree with each other.
By the way, or like I'm picturing concrete. Okay.
All concrete. Yeah.
Okay.
Concrete everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can tell who agrees with who. You can also tell there's older blocks. You can also tell the older block buildings before the Soviet Union and after the Soviet Union.
Well, yeah, because being a part of the Soviet Union, they weren't like invaded or anything, right? They haven't.
Well, it was because they were part of the Axis from World War II and World War I, really. So like once World War II ended, everything was split up amongst everybody. And so Bulgaria was just handed over to the Soviet Union, like, you have to be a part of this government now.
Oh, okay. The Soviet Union took place after World War II, right?
I don't know. I think the Soviet Union was like part of that. Like they were part of like the USSR was part of World War II. Yeah.
Okay.
Or the Soviet Union. Sorry. The communist. I'll just say communism. Communism was part of that. And so they had to just be handed over to the communist government. And then the Bulgaria was just forced to agree upon you're part of the communist government now.
Yeah. Okay.
From there.
Gotcha. So you're seeing like the capital. What was the population there? Do you know? Of the capital?
I have no clue, but it wasn't like, I mean, there's a lot of people there. Like if most people living, a third of the population of Bulgaria is living in Sofia. Of all Bulgaria. And Bulgaria.
What's the terrain like? Mountainous?
Very mountainous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very mountainous everywhere out there. So it's very mountainous, but like Sofia is the capital and there's a couple other larger cities around but it's not like Sofia. That is the city.
Right.
And so they've seen what I kind of did a bunch of research on it too, is the population was declining for the longest time because all these people are like, I'm getting out of this country. I want to go live in Germany or UK or America. A lot of people immigrated out just because the 90s sucked for a lot of families and a lot of people. So because it was post-communism. So what happened is like, and this is kind of what I deterred from it, was like during communism, it kind of sucked if you weren't part of it, and it just kind of sucked for having your own values and stuff there. Then communism ended. The Bulgaria became their own country, right? So now you have the early 90s into the 90s where Bulgaria is their own country. They have to figure it out now. They're like, we got to create like these groups, and we have to create this government. We got to create our own dollar. We got to do all that. So that was like their main focus. They couldn't really focus on building like, I don't know what, let's make things look nice type of thing. Like we have old heads telling us one way they think it should be because of
fire sale. They're like, we just got to get our shit together and function.
Correct. And it was kind of like a shitty time. So a lot of people were like, let's get the hell out of here during that time. So the 90s happened with that. Then you have the early 2000s where they're like, all right, we've kind of figured it out. Let's start kind of making things the way we want them to be.
And this is like, under like a democracy or like
democracy. Yeah, they have parties over there, but there's still a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
They still have like ties to like Russia? Is that like one
there's
of the
still ties to Russia
type of deal going
on?
No,
they've broken away from Russia. Like they're not part of it, but like you see ties there because of it, but they're their own country.
Well, if they're part of the European Union, that's definitely not going to be influenced by Russia.
Yeah, they're not influenced. They're their own thing now. Like they went through that hardship during the 90s to be like, we are our own thing and we do not want to be a part of them anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they've created their own government. They have parties. There's now, from what they're telling me, there's still a lot of like, what is the word I'm looking for? Where they're like people are scamming each other, or people are like, I'm blanking on it. But it's like
I'm tracking. I'll circle back on that one.
When people have control and they like use that control over people to do what they want to have done.
Like
Why?
it's not
Why are we
collusion. It's not deception.
It's not,
Bribing. It's so close.
but all of those things are happening. I don't know. They still have a lot of that. And supposedly, like a lot of the wealthy people in Bulgaria, it's a big scamming country,
Yeah.
I guess. So like a lot of that happens too. And so they still have a lot of that and they're trying to get away from it, of course. But they're like, yeah, if you usually see like someone with, there's such a disparity between like, there's not like, oh, there's poor people and then there's rich people. Like we have in America, we have a huge middle class. There's not much of a middle class, and the middle class is pretty small. It's just like, so they say like usually if you're seeing a lot of wealthy people out there, they're probably like big scammers out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, do they have like a pretty big separation in wealth? Type of deal going on.
Yeah, because your salaries there aren't very big.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, I don't know, 2,000 a month is what you're getting. That's if you're making pretty good money, you know? So you have to live off of that, pay all your bills and everything. And who knows, like sometimes you pay your bill and the water's just shut off for the entire building for a minute.
Were there any rolling blackouts while you're there? Like
not when we were there, but they've like some buildings, we know someone someone that was staying there, and they had their whole building lost power for like a couple days.
Oh.
And then someone else, they lost water for a few days. They just didn't have it for the boat. And without notice, they just do it. Oh, and then if you, all the buildings and every room has like a radiator in it. But the radiator, they don't control when the gas is turned on. Like the city agrees upon when the heat for the radiators is turned on. They'll turn on the gas and then you have a control valve in your place.
Right.
Like Chrissy said, it's got to be like cold for like a week before they do that. They're like, yeah, it's got to be pretty down chilly for a good minute before they turn those things on.
Sucks.
So like there's things
winters get chilly there, huh?
Winters get cold. Yeah. So it's about what I looked at, like a level of where it's like Chicago kind of, I think, level.
Okay.
If you think of like how it gets cold, but you're in like mountainous, you're much higher elevation than you are.
And you're not in control of the gas until it's cold for a week.
Yeah. So like, and so it gets cold. A lot of, like there's not heaters everywhere either, so think of like a city hub running. And so things are radiating heat out of all the buildings and stuff. Sometimes there's just, you don't have that radiation of heat coming off from everywhere either.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like the buildings are kind of spaced a little bit apart?
A lot of buildings are spaced apart too. Yeah, that like I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Of like you go into Chicago or you go to New York and they complain how hot it is because everything's like concrete.
Yeah,
like it is there, but it's not like asphalt everywhere. It's just concrete, so it doesn't absorb and radiate the heat as much as it would in our cities.
Okay. And her family is in Sofia,
so we got to spend time with them while we were there.
When's the last time she's been back?
5 years. So 5 years ago, I was going to propose to her out there, but
that's right.
COVID happened.
Yeah,
of course. And so Bulgaria is one of the last countries to open up everybody to tourism and everybody after COVID. So
really?
Oh yeah, Bulgaria's like, we ain't letting nobody in here during that time.
How much was she loving it being back?
Oh, she was loving it, of course. Yeah. She was. And when we got there and before we went, I was just like, I just want to let you know, like I have no say in what happens on this trip. You have full say. So like sometimes she'd be like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't know where to go. You could say we're going to go live in a basement for a week. And if that's the experience we're going to have,
that's
we're going
to
have
have, dude.
That's what we're going to go do. So, so I was just like, I don't know what to do. It was, she, of course, and I wanted that too. I wanted her to show me everywhere. Now I did have to buy, what was interesting is I did have to buy a man purse while I was over there.
Really?
So, pickpocketers are huge in Bulgaria. They were straight up everywhere, I guess. So I was one of the things I first noticed too when I got there is all the guys were wearing bags.
Yeah.
And I just thought like, oh, that must be a thing. And they do. And excuse me, Christy was like, no, pickpocketers are bad here, so you'll want to like keep your hands near your phones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that about like first week or so, I was keeping my hands in my pockets most of the time. I only felt one person try to pickpocket at me, which was interesting. We got on a bus and to go somewhere, and I know this person, this chick started walking by me, and I just like questioned in my mind. I was like, that. Well, look, and my phone was in my left pocket, and she was gonna walk by me here. I was like, that was question. So I did something where I let her get close enough to do it, and then I put my hand down on purpose, and I felt the hand going for it right there. And then I felt her hand. I knocked away. She walked by, and I just looked straight at her, and she got off on the next one. The other attempt was we were in like a big tour, like there was this big huge building, kind of like like a big civic center.
Mm-hmm.
Very touristy spot. It looks nice, great for pictures. So anytime I took a picture, I always looked around just to make sure there's no one around me. And I was like, all right, it's a good spot to get a picture. And I pull out my phone like this to take the picture, and all of a sudden I hear music coming up quick behind me, and I was like, that doesn't sound good. So I put my phone down and turn my left where the music's coming from, and it was a biker an electric bike guy coming by, and has like whatever music to distort you, and had his whole entire face like covered up. And he was coming, he went right by me right here, and then just kept going. And of course, once he couldn't get to the phone, I was like, that was somebody trying to swipe a phone for sure. They're just waiting in that touristy spot.
I had an old lady try and pickpocket me in Italy. And I just like that morning, I mean, I watched a couple things about like travel, whatever, but like that morning I watched some video about in Italy, how bad the pickpocketers are on the trolley and stuff. And dude, sure enough, I mean, it was by pure happenstance. I'm not gonna say I was like on my P's and Q's or anything. I don't know. I was just in a crowded trolley, and I was like, this is where pickpockets happen. So I just had my stuff, my hands by my pockets, and I felt that finger go in, and I grabbed the finger, and I held on to the finger and turned around, and it was this old woman. She had a little satchel and like all these like pashmina kind of clothes going on. And she must have been with these like two other people. I grabbed her finger. I was like, don't fucking do that. And she started like getting all wide-eyed and trying to make it seem like it was some misunderstanding or whatever. And some guy with a newspaper folded down, he tried to make a commotion. I was like, every fucking one of you, dude. I don't know. I got so heated over it for no reason. But
well, there was one too in that same touristy area. We were going to go to. I spotted this one. So we were going to go to the subway, and we go towards the subway, and this young girl comes off the subway, but then she like eyes us. I know I look like a tourist. I know I look like a, all right. I'm like, right. I know what I am here. So she eyes us, and we're in like nicer clothes and stuff too. We're going out for the day, and she like puts her phone up and like starts talking, and then turns around and starts walking like pretty close behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And by this point, I have the bag too. So I was like, by this point, we went to the mall, and I got like a true leather like man bag. So I was like, all right, I got my man bag now. So she starts following us, and I notice she starts getting like closer to Christy, goes like back down the subway with us and gets closer. So I just go next to her.
Yeah.
Like this, right? I just come here, and she moves forward and is like walking, and I could just see she's keeping us in her peripheral.
Yeah.
As we're walking. We get through the station, and we pay for everything, and she tries to go closer again, and I just like we'll move Christy over a little bit more. And so we go down, and we're waiting on the subway, and I just turned her around, put my hands in the pocket, just stared at her. I just stared at her. She turned around and saw me staring at her, and she turned around again, and then she left. And I was like, I see you. I see. I'm not going to pretend like you don't.
I know, you lost this game.
You lost.
Carry on.
Go on. I see what you're doing. I'm not going to call you out. Good on. Yeah. Do your thing. But like,
fuck people over, but just not me.
Not me. So I never, thank God, I never got anything. But I mean, just saying, this is a few times that happened there, right? Yeah. Otherwise, everyone is awesomely nice there.
Yeah.
Like it like no one was rude or anything. The only time, which kind of was funny, that this is a funny story. So we were in a small shop in a village, and we were in the little it was like a little grocery store, right? And so I have my backpack on because we were going out for the day. I have my backpack on with stuff. And so it's a small, like everything's like close together, right? Like aisles and stuff because it's a small little grocery store. And so Christy's at the counter needing to pay for something. I wanted to like find a bag of chips to get, and this guy wanted to get by me. I was like, yeah, no problem. And I back up, but my backpack hits like, this shelf with all these like annoying water bottles. Like think of the water bottles you get at like sales conventions and stuff, like those types of things. It's like a stand of those. So I hit those, I hear it, and I turn around and I like catch two of them as they're like falling, right? And I was like, and I put them all back together. Right. And Christy's waiting up at the front. And I just went back and I was like, God, everyone heard it though. And I just smiled and I was like, God. And I put hands up, put thumbs up, like, we're good. And then I started looking for chips again. And then Christy was like, Dylan, don't grab anything else. We're like, I'm paying for this and we're leaving. Yes, ma'am. We're, whatever. She said that in a tone of like, I am coming to you. And I guess the two ladies of the store owners were like, fucking idiot, and what a fucking idiot, in Bulgarian. And they didn't know she spoke Bulgarian too. And then she just went off on them in the store. And I'm just looking there like a stupid American, like,
hey, everything's great. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. You try and say it back to him?
I didn't know until we left the store. And I was like, oh, man. I could have done so much off of that. I'm a stupid American. Throw shit on the ground. Like, I was like, babe, we could go back. I can literally pile rocks in front of their store. They got to move the next day. Like, if we really want to go off, show up with some smoke bombs. Stupid American. I could have really I was throwing out ideas to her too. I was like, we can make this.
Circle back. It is the worst though when you don't know. Like for me on the subways, learning putting your feet in the seats is extremely disrespectful. I get it. I understand why that's disrespectful. It's just not the way I was trained. You know what I mean? And
so funny on that. So subways, right? We get on the subways. By the way, the subways there are compared to anything else I've ever seen, immaculate. They are amazing there because they're relatively new, built within the past like 10, 15 years. So, and interesting enough too, when they're building, like they're uncovering all these like Roman things, like old ancient Roman things, as they're building the subways there. Because they're like driving through, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we can't go this way now because there's a whole old Roman city here we got to dig up. Great. So they like divert around, but each station is a little different. They didn't have like in New York, they have covers at each of their like pass-throughs, I guess you could say. They didn't have all that because everyone's pretty respectful on paying for your train, your subway ticket going down. Yeah, no one's like jumping.
Have like the entrance thing that tumbles over.
They have that, but there's not a thing on top of that to keep from jumpers.
Gotcha.
Gate jumpers. Everyone's just like, yeah, you pay your ticket, here you go. You have like a Metro card, basically. Yeah, everyone's got their Metro card. So they were all awesome there. Like they're all on time. All the buses, all the trains, all on time there, which is great. So like this is when it's showing up, and they happen every like 5 to 10 minutes. They're pretty regular, so you're not waiting a long time. But what I did notice when we got on the subways is that they're staring. Sometimes a staring. Like older people will stare because they just don't whip out their phones automatically. So so I look a little different. I've got longer hair there. I just look a little different. So sometimes I noticed that when I got there, there usually maybe 1 or 2 people staring at me when I get on there. So I made a fun game out of it. I was like, I'm going to find them and we should start a staring contest. So I get on there. I just got to look around and I find them and I lost sometimes. I'll tell you. there are some good ones. There are some usually the older women. I'll stare you down, buddy. We're gonna go for it.
They're like, I haven't had something new to look at in years.
It's just sometimes hey, we'll do it. And sometimes I'll stare and they'll look away or something, like whatever. But
did you feel like the whole time you're there though too? Because you're like, that's your first time in a totally different country. right?
First time in a totally different besides Mexico, but
Did
I
you
mean,
feel
that was
like
more
it?
like
No,
touristy stuff.
this is like this is like a real ass country. Right?
This is like
Did you
this
feel like
was
a little
like
more
well,
pep in your step though? Because you're like, this is like new. Everything's new and
oh,
different.
I felt like I was on fight or flight mode for like a lot of the time when I was there, just because it's all different. Like I'm watching, looking at everything. Like especially because we weren't like in super touristy areas the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So like we're going into the inner city. We'd go out to villages. We'd go out to the mountainous area, stuff like that. When you got to the mountain area where we were at, it wasn't too much. I have to like, it's like going to North Carolina, basically. If you're going hiking or backpacking or something like that, that's kind of more what it felt like. But
yeah,
in the city though, I was kind of like I was just kind of making sure like no one's keeping an eye on us. That was kind of what I was looking for. I just don't want anyone seeing like, oh, I'm a tourist here, and then like seeing where we're staying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would try to keep an eye out on that, making sure we're not being, because that would be, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that would happen, but I was just making sure that wasn't.
Bulgaria is not like a dangerous place, right?
No, it's not dangerous at all. There,
Yeah.
like it's more of because they have so much. The people there have so much more to lose if they have something stolen off of them, or they have their money stolen off of them or something, right? Because that was one thing I noticed too, was like here I have a house and I have so much stuff in it. So I asked Christy, even I was like, where do they keep all their stuff? And I'm like, here, and she's like, this is their stuff. Like this is it. Like this is where they have it. And I was like, oh, they don't have to have like all these other things, I guess, that we would have, you know, or they just get better at close ties on things, right? Like a you know how like when you were maybe younger, you had like the one computer for the house.
Yeah.
But it was in the living room. But as you got older, maybe each person got their own TV.
Fucking collect a bunch of shit.
They just don't collect a bunch of stuff. There's not one TV in each room. There's like the family room, and that's where everyone goes to watch TV. You know, there's
probably a much more like, at least a sense I definitely got from the wedding too. It's like family centric culture.
Way more family centric culture.
Yeah,
for like
the family dynamic is probably driving a lot of outcomes career wise, relationally, fulfillment, because you care about what your parents think. You care about what your family thinks.
Sure. Like you want to you're taking care of your family. What was really sad about that, actually, good, because it is more family oriented. But sometimes like the homeless people there were usually not like regular home. Like, it was mostly like older people. So you could tell like when somebody wasn't being taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a lot of times out there, you would see like there'd be homes in the villages and stuff where like it would be overgrown because the family's just not taken care of. And then like they were like, sometimes just people get found dead in their homes because no one's like checking in on them or taking care of them. It's just like an older person that's passed away. Right.
Dude,
so like
by the way,
way more family oriented there.
Real quick, side note, hold that thought around the family because I do want to continue to explore that dynamic. Last month was my biggest commission month as a W-2. I've never been more pissed off about Social Security.
I haven't been market clips. Damn
it. Dude, what the fuck? All right, first off, second off, and third off, what the fuck are we? What is that? What is all of that noise?
Oh, yeah, the bigger everything, the more you make, that bigger chunk's coming out.
Oh, my God. I started
tax the rich, everyone says, until you want to get money.
Dude, I was like, I'm not even rich. I'm like, this is the amount of money that like everyone in America should be making to live comfortably.
Did your check just hit the next tax bracket?
I wanted to put a hole through my fucking computer. That just triggered something deep because I'm thinking like the way we're supposed to take care of our elderly, and over there, like do they have Social Security? Is that like a thing they pay into?
A little, yeah, they have kind of something like that there, and then seniors get way big discounts there on a lot of different things. Like huge, like I think they get either it's a huge discount, like they pay very minimal, or it is free transportation for all the public transportation there.
Gotcha.
And the public transportation there is sweet. Like it was great.
Dude, that's the thing about most countries you travel to. I mean, I will say this, America's fucking huge, right? So it just doesn't, in a lot of areas, it doesn't make sense for us to invest in a ton of public transportation. But in the areas that are like really congregated, heavily densely populated, like you go to somewhere like Bulgaria where it's like, oh, this is nice subways. This
Yeah.
is public transportation. Like, it just doesn't make sense in big cities. Why? I mean, I guess it's a bitch to put in after the fact, because just different ways of developing the
Well, I mean,
countries
think of
over
like
time.
Bulgaria though. They've been built up, and then they're just dredging underneath the cities. Like they just are doing it. So they
Yeah.
could do it in big cities. They could definitely update them. Sofia, Bulgaria's doing it. It's not like they couldn't.
Oh yeah, too. That's got to be rock as a motherfucker.
Oh, it's
like
rock. Oh yeah,
to dig those tunnels.
everything is made out of stone or concrete out there.
Yeah.
There's no wood. There's not much wood stuff out there. It is. We got our resources rock and limestone. Here,
Is it limestone?
they did. We passed by a limestone quarry out there. That was cool to see.
Limestone.
Yeah, they do have a lot of lime. But every
I guess the sea's
country
right
has a lot.
there, right? So
Well, yeah, Black Sea.
Black
Sea
Sea.
is right there.
Yeah. So I would imagine one time that was higher. That was the thing that tripped me out about Berlin, is like that's a new city because it got fucking rolled over with all the bombs. So there's a lot of concrete everywhere. So that's what's tripping me out about Bulgaria, is that like you're telling me it's a bunch of concrete. I would have thought like
huge amounts of concrete.
I was picturing in my head like red rock buildings for some reason. I don't know.
A lot of concrete. Bricks. A lot of the old buildings have bricks
Bricks.
there. Yeah, but they cover up the brick, of course. But a lot of bricks there. They have, interesting enough, one of their big things that they've had for the longest time is in the inner city, the capitals, is they have yellow bricks. It's a big touristing thing. They have a bunch of yellow bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Christy told me that the women complained that the very fancy yellow bricks were put in the downtown area long ago. And I was like, why is that? And she goes, it's because it became harder to get to find men, because they back in the day when it was just mostly dirt, they would raise their dresses and show off their ankles to the men around town. But once they put in these nice yellow bricks, there was no excuse now to raise and show the ankles. Because showing your ankles back then was a bad thing. You little whore. But so they didn't have they couldn't show, it wasn't a good excuse to raise your dress anymore. So I just thought that was a funny fact there.
So I just looked up some of the pictures of Sofia. So that mountain, you saw that mountain range?
Oh yeah, we hiked up to the top of one of those mountains. That was
fun.
Did
you? That's beautiful.
It was cool.
Did you go to this really pretty?
I'll tell you a story. Go ahead. Sorry.
Did you go to this really pretty green and yellow topped building?
Green and yellow top. Are you able to share your screen on that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story too. Let's see.
This one?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I walked, that's like right in the center. Funny enough that they were setting up for something the next day. And it turned that we went walking around that. We went right by it. The first day we ended up going into like one of the oldest churches in Europe, right next to that. But so that building, you see, it's all like green, and they have the gold dome there. So all those are gold, and they ended up painting them green, so that way when the Allies came through, it wasn't a bombing target potentially. They didn't want to see it was like made of gold and be like, that's important, let's bomb that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So, and the next day too, Speed showed up to that area, so they were doing a whole bunch of setup. The YouTuber guy, I don't know if you ever heard of Speed, I guess. Yeah.
I know YouTuber. I've heard of a YouTuber named Speed. I don't know. Is that his whole name? Is it Black Dude?
Speed. Yeah. Okay. He ended up being there the next day while we went hiking to the top of the mountain.
Oh, cool.
Funny enough. So we went hiking to the top of the mountain, right? It was actually going to be the mountain I would have proposed to her on. So we ended up hiking to the top of this mountain. It was, by the way, hiking on the top of this mountain, it's not like there's nice little trails. It's like you can either go up that way or go find the trail that's kind of marked. And that would be the way. We ended up going this way. So anyway, we take this trail and we get to the top, right? I mean, it was a good hike to the top of this mountain. And it's the tallest point in like that region.
Yeah.
So it's a hike up there. So we got up to the top, and there's like this little hut at the top that was like built in 18 or whatever. And we got food and we got a beer while we were up there. And it was just being run by this group. You could get like peppers, you could get like some food, but they had this big grill outside, and it was just these two guys drinking beer, playing house music, grilling peppers. And I was like, this is the experience I wanted right here. I got a video of it. I sent it to you. I think
I didn't get the video of that, I don't think.
I sent it to you guys. Yeah, if you go on, if you see whatever video I sent it to you, it's on there.
Okay.
I sent it in the group chat, but it's just these two guys like playing house music, and I'm like, yes, this is what I'm here for, baby. Yeah, so their hiking trails aren't like, oh, let's put a nice bridge over this, so you don't go over these huge rocks that you could fall into and really hurt yourself. Like,
how long did it take you to get to the top?
Couple hours.
Yeah,
to get to the top. Yeah, it was a good hike.
It looks like a healthy. There. I think anyway you're going after that range, whatever.
I mean, we were quick. We were, and I mean, we went up several thousand feet, like really quickly.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, you were eyeballing that range I'm looking at. That looks like a healthy hike.
There was still snow at the top. At the mountain. Like,
checks out.
Yeah.
Same photo I'm looking at, actually.
Yeah,
still
like,
snow at the top.
There's still snow at the top, and it was July, and it's the hottest time of
that
year.
looks very green. Still snow at the top.
Just so show you how hot. Just to show you how hot it was during this time for them, is there was snow on top of the mountain when I got there, and the snow was gone by the time we left, or 2 weeks in. So it finally went away. But yeah, that was a good time. And then what was it? I forgot what the other thing I was going to say. But yeah, we ended up hiking down from that too. And that was what interesting enough is when we got, there was like a little like spa resort hotel that we stopped at for a beer before hiking to the top. They gave us like a free drink. They were so nice. And then like when we came back down from the mountain, we were like covered in dirt and stuff. It was so funny. But like we stopped in there to wait for a taxi. And I noticed when we got back down to that same hotel, there was two black Mercedes blacked out, and then like an armored car. And they were like, then there was guards around. I was like, I told her, I was like, there's somebody here that for them to be here. And she goes, oh yeah, that's probably the mafia. And I was like, we are in mafia area for sure right now. And I was like, oh really? So like, oh, corruption. That's the word I was looking for. Now, there it is.
What a satisfying brain itch. Oh,
there we go.
Oh, man, I tell you what, there's that crossword puzzle that would have whipped our ass, dude.
Hand in hand with the mafia. So,
is it weird? I have felt strangely more comfortable in areas run by mafias than I have cops.
I wanted to go talk to them. I was like, I want to go talk to these guys just to be like, what y'all here for?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do anything to me.
Yeah.
Here, I don't think so.
Well, depends what they do for money.
That's good. Probably a bunch of scamming. That's usually what it is there. It's all the scamming stuff. Didn't smell any weed the whole time I was there. So I don't think it has anything to do with it. I didn't smell weed.
What's their like drug policy? Are they like
just no drugs? They just don't like drugs there. Like I didn't smell, but I thought like maybe I smelled weed once, not once the entire time I was there. I was very surprised.
But like if you were caught smoking weed, do they like really care?
You'll get in trouble, but supposedly you can kind of burn them off the cops there. You know, supposedly just depends on what's going on, who you get.
Did you run into? Do you guys like go out, do any kind of like bar life, nightlife type stuff while you're there?
I did not. We did not. While we were there, we were going to one of the nights, but that was the night I got food poisoning. Unfortunately, Christy ended up going kind of like a nightlife before I got there. She got there a week before I did. But their nightlife is kind of more like dinner and out at the same spot. I guess you could say like you're going to be getting a show.
That culture it kind of gives me the vibe of a lot more like our drinking game is getting drunk than we need a drinking game type of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean but the thing is, like when I was drinking there, I don't like when I would drink 4 or 6 tall boys throughout the day, and I wouldn't get drunk off of it. Like I'd be fine by the end of the day. Like it's very malty beer, unless you really pay a lot of money for a good IPA there, which you got to find.
Sure.
But then like I would be wanting. I was like, why don't we get like a nice bottle while we're here? And Chrissy was like, the problem is like there could definitely be like these bottles could be fake. That could be fake Jack Daniels. There is a high chance you go to a bar and it's fake liquor while you're there for sure.
I think that's a thing I learned recently is that America in general, our alcohol percentages are a lot higher.
Very much so.
Just across the board.
Like most beer there was like 4.5% for beer, like most beer. Whereas us now you're finding like 6-8%. Like the cost difference from like buying a 4.5 beer, which is like, let's say 4 levs for one, would jump up to 12 to 15 if you wanted a higher cost beer, which
might be import. Who knows? What was their like local beer? Do you remember the name of it? Like a domestic?
If there was like a Bulgarian one called Rocket Science, which was interesting. That's like
the Bud Light of Bulgaria, Rocket Science.
That would be like their craft beer for sure. I couldn't tell you what the names of their like local ones were. There was like a Czech beer that was really popular. There's one that started with a K. I can't remember, but like
it was
like
one of my favorite things is drinking their shit beer because for me it's exotic.
I did. That's all I did. Immediately when I got there the first week, I was like, I'm drinking all you could. But they were like, you buy a tall boy for a 1 lev, which would be like 70 cents in America, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to try all these different ones. But they all kind of tasted the same, but didn't, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like normal.
That is a nice thing about like Mexico. Dude, Thailand, I don't remember what a beer was. I think it was like 30 cents or 60 cents for a tall boy or something. I was just like...
What's here? I was like, give me all the beer.
I was like, yeah, I don't know what this is about, but I'm here for it. And
I was too. I was like, give me...
I was like, I'll drink until I'm on the edge of responsible, but you keep them coming.
There was a couple times on things Chris was like, that's expensive. And I'm like, I'm just buying that because that does not seem expensive.
Did you like the food? Was the food good?
The food there was awesome. Like
really good.
Oh my God. You could tell our food here in America is such bullshit. Like
such bullshit,
dude. Like we have so many I would do a comparison, right? I'd be like, all right, we have this America and they have this version here. And I'd check out the version. Way better quality. I had McDonald's while I was in Bulgaria. I wanted to try that.
I had to do the same thing in Europe.
The McDonald's tasted like it did like when it was in the 90s.
Yeah, when you're a kid.
Like when I was a kid. Like this is what the McDonald's should taste like is this.
Did it weird you out when you saw the ketchup? The ketchup's a little different color.
I actually didn't see the ketchup, surprisingly enough. I think
the ketchup's, it looks like smashed up tomatoes, right? Like our shit looks like a red crayon. I looked at the ketchup. I was like, "That's weird." I was like, "No, actually, that's normal. I'm used to weird."
We had a good, like the meat was good. We had, I had a Fanta. The Fanta actually tasted like somewhat like an actual like carbonated orange drink.
I was waiting till we got on the podcast to tell you this. I fucking hate that. By the way, that's my one sticking point with all this preservative shit. It's real orange juice. It's real Fanta over there is real carbonated orange juice.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
But that goes along with like Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola over there tastes way better than it does over here.
That is true.
Now, don't get me wrong. The Fanta I would probably agree with. Like I agree that the Fanta might taste better over here because I don't want if I want orange juice, I'll drink orange juice.
Yeah.
But like when I drink the Sprite and Coca-Cola over there, so much better.
So much better.
So much better. Like it wasn't a Mexican Coca-Cola, but it was pretty close. Like that's how good it was over there.
Yeah.
And then like I tried a bag of Skittles. Skittles way better over there. Like the because I wanted something like, all right, what would give me cancer in the US? Skittles. That's the thing I like. And I go over there.
Skittles are probably giving you cancer over there too, buddy. But
way better quality though. I'll tell you that. Less stuff.
The quality might be across the board.
Less sugar, less stuff in it. I looked at the ingredients. I found, funny enough, we were at this other store. We found an Iraqi can of Mountain Dew. I don't know why or how it got there, but they were selling Iraqi Mountain Dew. And I was like 100% trying that. And I got it. And I was like, this is a watered down Mountain Dew. This is all. And I looked at it, only 13 grams of sugar.
That's child's play. Isn't it like 36 grams of sugar in the US or something?
100%. And I was like, this is fascinating. I was like, I could get down with this Mountain Dew if it was selling it, if that's how they were selling it. But I was like, wow, our food is just loaded with stuff. Like
Did it have Arabic on the can? Like it was like Arabic Mountain Dew or something?
Yeah, because we picked it up, and I was like, "What is it?" It had like
Is that
Arabic
they speak in
symbols.
Iraq? Is that
I don't know, probably.
sure? Some scribbles on it and
It
shit.
had Iraqiism. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Not one of your finer points, but no, I was holding that in. When you initially told me when we spoke the other day about the Fanta thing, that was one of my few sticking points with traveling abroad.
But
yeah,
I could live without the. I don't normally drink Fanta anyways. But I'll tell you this though,
I couldn't find a fucking orange soda anywhere I went.
I was like, if all the food quality is this, and you and I talked about it, if all the food quality is this good, I'm not normally a cigarette smoker, and everyone here is smoking a cigarette. I got to try the cigarettes. So I bought a pack of cigarettes and I smoked. I think it was Camel Pack. I was like, give me the blue one. I don't care. Just give me one of the
You
pack.
just saw everyone smoking them.
I was like smoking. I was like, I got to try this. The food quality here is overall better. I don't feel like shit after eating McDonald's. I don't feel like crap after eating something that probably would feel normal crap at. I was like, let's try a cigarette. I tried the cigarette. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is the hype I've always been told about. I started smoking these Camels. I didn't even feel like shit. I was like, these are so cheap. I want to buy the best quality cigarettes I could. Right. So I found Dunhills. Dunhills are very popular over there if you can afford them. They're like, cost goes from like 2 or 3 levs for like the cheaper brand of cigarettes up to like 10 levs for the more high quality, 7 to 10 levs for the higher quality ones. I got a Dunhill. Oh my God. I'm not even a cigarette smoker. And I didn't feel like shit at all after smoking those. Like normally over here, I would bum one off of someone while I'm drunk, and I feel like shit the next day because I smoked that cigarette. Man, that is some good quality tobacco over there. I tell you what, I bought 2 cartons and brought them back home with me.
Dude, I'm not so lying. Good. That's probably the most fired up I've heard you in a long time.
I see the hype around cigarettes if it's those.
It was the moment I understood. Like that's if
no
anything,
one's
I witnessed
over there.
A man that's a lifelong smoker moment right there. That's when you saw the inception.
Only when I'm in Bulgaria and I can bring them back. I'm like, all right, those are going to be like nice days. I'll have these while I'm over here.
Mm-hmm.
Nice
How
golf
long are
course
cigarettes good for? I remember my dad used to put cartons in the fridge or the freezer.
I assume fine because it's just dry tobacco. It's not.
No,
like,
I mean they definitely have a shelf life, but you can extend that.
I'm gonna gift them to a few people. Like I'm gonna gift some from my dad. You know, he buys cartons, goes drive.
That's such
to
a beautiful
Georgia.
gift too. You know,
you know,
man, I love you. Here's some cancer. You know, take care of yourself.
Less of a cancer though than what you're getting
Less
here.
Of a cancer, more of a
trying to give you a healthier option.
Yeah, that's so funny too, isn't it? The irony of a company that not a company, a country that has like. That isn't as well off economically, but they can't afford to put bullshit in their food.
I don't even know if it's like. I think they just say no, fuck off with their like all that stuff. Like they tell companies
all the way through Europe. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. If they just give a fuck.
Like when we were there too, like Coca-Cola didn't have all these different brands of Coca-Cola, right? There was like Coca-Cola, there was Sprite, and then they had like Fanta.
Sure.
There wasn't like we have all these different variations of Sprite or all these different variations of Coke. So
yeah,
Bulgaria was probably like, all right, if you want your product here, you can't have all this shit in there. And then Coca-Cola is like, well, it's going to cost us more money to not add all this other stuff. So we got to stay with like these 4.
Sure.
And then we can make the adjustments on that. Like you look at the ingredients on all the stuff, it is completely different than what it is here, but like way better quality over there.
Yeah, we were going to a boat party maybe a month or so ago for my buddy's birthday, and we just stopped at a gas station. We fucked up on the food plan. I fucked up, whatever. We're at a gas station trying to get some snacks. I don't know the last time you looked at the back of a Twinkie or like a brownie cake or something where you're just like, I have a shelf of options and none of them are good. So I'm just like trying to see what round robin food poisoning I want to get.
Yeah.
Unreal. Cause I've done the same thing when I'm traveling, like looking at the ingredients list, just see what's up. I don't know how we arrived here in this country where it's like so okay to have that much shit.
FDA ban. Pay them off. They'll do anything.
Unreal. Just stuff.
Whereas like other
can't
countries,
pronounce.
they're like, no, get out of here with that. We're not trying to bring that in here. Like their bread was so good over there. Oh my God. It was so good. Like we got white bread over there. I had the best tomato sandwich I've ever had over there. Yeah, dude. Because their tomatoes are massive over there. They're huge. They're like this big and not full of all the other bullshit. We went to a farmer's market.
Yeah.
Oh, looking at stuff. All right, talk about that. We went to like grocery. They have grocery chains there. They have like 3 main grocery chains there, like Lidl, Kaufman, and Biba or Bilba, something like that, right? So we went to. So they do have like those, and so we went into the store, and I was like, let's go to I want to go look at their frozen pizza section. All right, I just want to see that. And so we went to the frozen pizza section because everything's good quality everywhere. But America, I would be like, but that would be the like section where probably there would be some bullshit.
Yeah.
Go to the pizza section. There's 2 frozen pizza options. There's something
brands
here.
Or
that's it.
Okay.
They have pepperoni, supreme, and cheese. Their cheese pizza is called margarita over there, like the margarita style. But us, we have margarita and cheese.
Right.
Everyone told me, I was excited to try it. I was like, I want to try this, like whatever. And every single person I brought it to was like, don't do that. And I was like, they're like, it's awful. It's awful. Don't do it. And I was like, I gotta do it. Sure, we got one, right? I was like, oh, let's get it. And one night I was like, I put it in. I was like, this is by far the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth. I still ate it because it's cheese pizza, but I was like, the expectation is just, the bar was so much lower than I thought it would be. I just thought about even the Bulgarians I run out to, they're like, don't do it. There's normally you go to the U.S. aisles. There's a whole like section of like,
dude, yeah, brand. It's like what
on brand of it.
How do you want your pizza? Do you want it muffin, bite, bagel, sandwich?
There was 2 brands, and the 2 brands, by the way, were: do you want the unhealthy version or the healthy version of this?
Oh, shit.
Then we in the stores too as well. Like there was just like they would have cases of the 3-liter beers. Like, you go to the store and they have like,
did you have to return the bottles? Is that like a thing?
No,
okay.
No, you don't have to return bottles. They do recycle a lot. They do have a lot of recycling, but like normally you go to the store and there's like, look, we got 2 liters of Coca-Cola on sale. They were like, look, we got 2 or 3 liters of this beer on sale for $1 a piece. Do you want one? Yes, please.
Yes.
Throw that into my cart. Throw that in. So they did have chains there, and then they had this like. So Christy loves this place called Happy. It's a restaurant chain there.
Mm-hmm.
Great place. I love it. But it has like a menu. The menu has everything when you go there. You go, it's sushi, pizza, burgers, Bulgarian food, whatever you want. And I noticed like every restaurant we went to had this. Like it had multiple things. I was like, hey, bro, why don't restaurants have like a thing? Like, oh, you go here and this is your Italian food. You go here, and this is your Mexican food. She goes, no, like if you don't have everything here, like most people aren't going to go to your place. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I realized like there's not that many restaurants here in particular anyways. And so everyone's walking everywhere, of course. So if you're going to have a store, you need to have like everything that people can choose from, which was interesting. So you know how like when you fly into a country and you go to the airport, and then like the walkway to get to your plane, normally there's an advertisement on the side of those and it's like a bank. It was the Happy's restaurant all over this. So I was like, all right, I got to check this place out.
The name of the restaurant's just Happy.
It's called Happy. It's one of the number 1 restaurants. They expanded to the UK. It's like their number 1 restaurant over there.
Dude, they're spreading happiness.
I'm sorry, she's gonna hear this. It's basically a fancy Fridays. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
But it's their number 1 restaurant because it's like the most it's Americanized style.
Fridays is good though.
I love Fridays. I'll go to Chili's. I'll go to Fridays. But like,
I won't go to Chili's.
I'll go check the 2-for-1 margs and beers, babe. Come on,
Hot
so
as
good.
shit after Chitties, dude.
Dude, if you I'm not going there to feel good. I'm going there to feel better.
It's a mental image of your server being that blackjack dealer that we had in Vegas, just sitting
like, what do you
down at
want?
the table.
Look, I'm not here to feel good. I'm here to feel better. All right.
You just hand your credit card. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna feel some pain tonight."
Thank you. I had to get used to not tipping, though. That was very interesting because you just don't have that. That was.
I love it. I
had to get used to it. It was so, because as someone that just was in the restaurant industry, I was like, Christy, do I tip? Do I not tip?
I've been in restaurants where I didn't get service for 15 minutes and I didn't give a fuck.
Oh, dude, smoking a cigarette in the restaurants there.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, that was
Did you
so
feel
nice.
naughty? Feel like you're doing something bad?
Like, it's just known, don't smoke inside the areas, but if you're like outside seating, you can smoke.
Sure.
There's no sign that says you don't. It's just like a very, it's a very respectful thing. Don't smoke inside where everyone else is.
Right.
But most seating there, you can just sit outside if you want.
Yeah.
So we go out for coffee or something, smoke the cigarette, enjoy it with the coffee. Oh my God, that is so nice.
I bet that banged. I bet that was just...
Dude, it's so good. Like after just a nice cigarette right after your meal while you're drinking the rest of your beer. Oh man.
Let me ask this. How many days have you been back now? 4 days a week?
Since like Saturday. Yeah, so 2 or 3 days. I haven't smoked one cigarette since we've been back though, but
you saw where that was going.
They're stocked. I tell you what, it will be.
Do they whisper to you?
Oh yeah, dude, they're on the counter. I'm bringing I'm bringing them to Burning Man. Dude, I'm gonna have them, dude, I'm gonna bring some to hand out to people and be like, oh, you want to have this cigarette.
That's a great gift.
Dude,
by the way, that's your gift for the ply or whatever.
I'm gonna bring them to hand out, and I'm gonna be like, Dunhill? Because we don't sell Dunhills. They don't sell Dunhills in the US, I don't think.
But I feel like I've heard that brand before, right?
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of comedians have talked about it when they've traveled.
That's what it is.
They'll bring it up and they'll be like, ooh, those Dunhill. So like I was like, I gotta try this Dunhill. And it's like one of the more expensive brands. And the Dunhills are so nice when you open them up. Like, you know how like cigarettes, they'll have like some sort of paper that covers them and then you have to like fold it back up. The Dunhills, when you open it up, the paper is attached to the opening thing. And so when you close it up, it covers up your cigarettes to keep them fresh for you.
Nice.
I was like, this is high life right here.
I got some panties on them cigarettes, son. So, hey,
that's exactly what it is.
hey.
And it opens it up for you. So yeah, I'm bringing those to Burning Man.
But does it, here's the deal breaker for me. Does it have a picture of someone's face rotting off?
100%. Yeah.
I mean, I will probably thoroughly enjoy it. I'll probably be like a cigarette a day kind of guy.
Dude, I promise you, you're going to, because you don't feel like shit after this. And you don't feel like, no one's vaping. I just to let you know, no one's vaping in Bulgaria. That's how like fresh.
I'm with you. But I feel a line where this could be my orange Fanta. You know what I mean? The way they have synthesized. I'm looking forward
nicotine. to your reaction on this because
I'm excited for it. I mean, because here's the deal. I was telling you this on the phone. Like in Brazil, when I had a cigarette there. Now, granted, it was a slightly different experience though because I had 2 of the Crush balls, and I kept.
They got rid of those there, surprisingly too. They got rid of the Crushes. I was looking for those, and they got rid of those in because they're so good,
dude. I was asking around. I was like, do you know where I can get a Crush cigarette? And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, one has a ball in it. And they're like, oh, no, we only have, you can bum one of ours, but it has 2. And I was like, what do you mean it has 2? And they're like, are you talking about the Crush things? So you crush it and the flavor comes out? I was like, yeah. And he showed me the cigarette. It had like a blue raspberry flavor ball and then the menthol ball. Ooh. And the cigarette was just all natural. When I tell you this cigarette got me so horny for life, I mean,
they banned those in Bulgaria because they were so good. Those
should be banned off the face of the planet, dude. I was like,
they got rid of those in Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's a good move.
The Dunhill packs are not. I don't know what Dunhill has as far as an agreement with whoever makes those, but the Dunhill ones, the pictures they put on are not as severe looking as the rest of them. The rest of them, they'll put like mouth cancer stuff. or some like weird thing. But the Dunhill ones has like a person fake dying, like like it has another one has like a mom holding their kid up, but the mom has like her knee on his lungs. It's like, what is happening here?
Some of those images are fucking graphic.
Some of them are, and I was like, give those to me, baby.
I know. I'm like, I get it.
I'm like, I was like, you know how much you have to smoke to actually reach that level?
What was that joke the comedian did? I know there's some comedian else too. He's like, but if we're putting that on cigarettes, like, why aren't we putting like a picture of a woman getting beat up on a beer bottle?
Oh, yeah. They were one of the pictures was just an animation picture. It was just like a black silhouette of a person with a hole in the crotch area. I was like, okay, yeah, like, okay.
It's a hot take on what's going on there. I could see it.
Yeah, but the cigarettes
so
are
overall,
amazing.
it was a great trip. It sounds like
Overall, great trip. I mean, having Christy there that she can translate everything for me, for sure, it like made the trip 100 times better, of course. And her showing me everything. We did a couple private tours where we went to Plovdiv, which is the oldest country in Europe. That was cool. And then we went to that same tour. We went up to a really old village as well, where the revolution started in Bulgaria. That was cool to learn about. The pork in Bulgaria, by the way, is off the charts. I don't know, like, I guess so. Pork there, they've always had it. Like, I guess that's the area my neighbor said that's where like kind of pigs came from, was the Balkan area. They like let the pigs, like, they'll soak them in salt for a while or something, and
they're
the
OG
dude. The pork ribs there were so good.
Did you get some like fat bacon?
Oh yeah, it was so good, dude. Ooh. I would everywhere I went. I didn't even order beef the entire time.
Thick bacon,
thick, and like the pork ribs, thick. It was so good. Like, to order pork ribs was like ordering I don't know, like a nice steak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was so good. I didn't order like a steak or anything over there. I was like, I'm not changing up my diet here for sticking with the pig. But yeah, we went to these, like, we did some museums of like where of the castles there, and then like, or not the castles, just a really nice building where the kings and the queens lived, and all kinds of stuff. They had kings and queens? Yeah, they had kings and queens there. They got them after their revolution. I mean, and then like,
right, everywhere had kings and queens, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, it was interesting is that the king during World War II, when Hitler and them came through, their king was awesome, and he negotiated with Hitler, and Bulgaria was the only country that didn't have Jews get killed or sent out. They were like, "Hey, you're going to come in here and utilize us and utilize our resources. We'll not put up a fight, but we will make this agreement from this." Because back then too, like the AK was created in Bulgaria, so like that was like
what a claim to fame.
Yeah, Yeah, and then
the AK is arguably like one of the most impressive weapons ever invented.
So Hitler came shortly after all that was, towards the end of the war. Hitler ended up coming to Bulgaria, had a meeting with him, and shortly after that had a heart attack. After that, but the agreements were already in place to protect everybody. But that the way I learned about that king, though, like, that was the king of Bulgaria was a very, like, he grew up kind of watching parliament, or like not parliament, watching like other kings and how they did things and stuff. And he was like a very, like, if you look at like a lot of pictures from back in the day, he, like, most people don't smile and everything, and he always had like a slight smile, but it wasn't like an evil smile. It was just like a
happy man.
Like he wanted to take care of his people, type of thing. And the way he, like, I read about a lot of his negotiations and stuff. He just like watched things as he came up, and he was in the military coming up, and he was just like an always watching type of person. And then then he came in and took over, of course, just because he was a prince, I guess, at the time. But yeah, it was very fascinating to watch how like it's the old, like, Bulgaria is the oldest country like the oldest country, and like they're the only country that's never like changed their name ever over time. They've just always kept it the same since the Roman times. They're one of the oldest countries out there. So much history, dude. It was wild. Like growing up in America, your oldest thing that you're really going to see here is going to be like you go to St. Augustine and be like, there's the oldest shit that you're going to find. Like that's it. We got it. Unless you find some Native American stuff, of course. And then the next oldest stuff was when I went to Tulum. Of course, they had those stuff. And then you get to Bulgaria and you step off the subway, and within the subway stations, it's like, here's something from the 1st century AD. Oh, you want to see some like 500 BC shit? Here's a building from there. Like, you're like,
that's sick.
Trying to wrap your head around how much old stuff is there. And they're just like, yeah. And sometimes you saw where they were taking care of it. And like, we would just stumble upon things sometimes where they're like, yeah, this was found. No one really takes care of it, but here's a sign saying what it is, you know?
Stuff like that blows me away. Like Rome's a great example of that, where they just have old shit
much
everywhere.
We went down into one of the oldest churches. We went down below the church, and there was like these like old tombs down there where they were like, and it was like an area. There was like the 1st century, and then like this is the 3rd century, and then the 4th century. Everything was the way it was built out. And this church was basically built on top of an old Roman cemetery. And it was just like, yeah, this used to be an open field. A church came in, and you could see how the church spread building on top of this, and they just kept it there. But then they'll have like an archaeological museum where they're like, they have so much stuff. They have statues without heads, and they're like, yeah, the statue is from like 1st century AD. Like, we don't know who it is, but there's some dude that they have. They have so. I peeked inside. You could go walk by this archaeological museum we went to. They had one area in there. Oh my God. They had one area in there. They had it locked, and they were about to close, and we were allowed to go in. Normally you have to pay extra for it, but they were like closing up soon. So they were like, please just go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
The gold from 1st century and 3rd century AD is the most beautiful gold I have ever laid my eyes on. It is this. They're like, this treasure. They say that this treasure was found here, and Bulgarian is one of the like most ancient countries that there is, so it has some of the most ancient gold that you can find. That's a different level of gold that hasn't been like, when they're uncovering it, it hasn't been like melted down, done. Some of the like the jewelry that they found from the necklaces or the bracelets, the bronze, the silver that they found, they just had like a room full of like basically the best of the best that they found. They had like one huge like some of the stuff was just like a big huge bowl like this big, just made out of gold, you know, and just bright gold. Oh my God, it was amazing just to see that. Like, oh, it's cool to just see everything you see in history books. You're like, oh, here it is.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's the cool part about traveling is like you get to see. I love going to see stuff like that because you're like, I want to see the country flex. Like, I want to see
that's a little bit of flex. They're like, oh,
you know,
this is some old shit we found in this country.
Show me cool shit, you know. And sometimes you go to other countries. It's weird though, like the Louvre in France and in Rome.
That's the big pyramid thing, right? In France, where they have
yeah, and they have so much of other people's shit, and you're like, I really feel like this should be
that should be there.
Like, I came to check out your shit, and I'm looking at a lot of other people's shit.
Yeah. Anything we went into and saw, it was all Bulgarian. There was no like from another country. It was just straight up like, this was found in Bulgaria. If it was from another country, it's because Rome brought it here.
Right.
And then from back in the day. Oh, dude, you'll find this fascinating. We were on the tour in Plovdiv, and they had like, back in the day, they had like a couple of things were interesting. They had these gossip rooms that they would build on these on the side of the home that wasn't really attached to the home. They were gossip rooms. So people would sit in these rooms that looked like they were attached to the building. So when foreigners were coming through the city, people would sit in there and hear what they were talking about to be able to report back That like the gossip room. I'm like, dang, we've been doing that ancient shit in high school too. So, and then one of the other things I thought was very interesting was they didn't at their churches, right? They weren't allowed to put up bells at the churches in these ancient cities. I was like, huh. And then they goes, if you notice too, the bell towers are built off of the church. And so you were allowed to eventually build bells, but it was off. But back in the day, you didn't build the bells because you didn't want to attract other people to the city, particularly Christians to the city. If they hear the bells, they know there's a religion in there and they want to get to that. And I was like, that's fascinating. Like,
Wow.
like it's like calling Christians in to come here. And now like, because they do Orthodox there. They do Orthodox. There was Muslim and then some Catholic in there, right? But you didn't like the Christians would just like come in and do their thing and change up the whole town. Whereas like most Orthodox were just like, yeah, if you want to go to church, just go to church. Like you're not.
Yeah.
So that was like interesting to like, you didn't want a calling card to go out. And that was in like the oldest city back then, you know?
Man.
Very interesting.
Dude, so you're back. You're a cultured man now. You're
cultured man. I can't wait to go back. That was awesome. To go there.
Culture cherry's been popped. Your
culture cherry. Like we went right into the heart of it too. Oldest country, oldest city, the Balkans, you know, right into the heart of everything of the world. And gotta say, beautiful country, beautiful city. I missed my AC. It was awesome. Ice wasn't really a big thing because like a lot of their drinks would just stay cool there anyway, so it wasn't a big deal as it was. Rakia is amazing. I highly recommend everyone to get their hand on that if they can.
What's that?
Basically moonshine, but like their version of it that they sell. So you can really only buy it in the Balkans. Rakia. It's kind of like it's so good. You can just drink it straight. But it's like 50% alcohol. They make them out of plums and cherries and pears and all kinds of good shit. Yeah. I would drink rakia over beer if it was over here all the time.
Well, I mean, awesome. If anything, this is inspiring me to go to Bulgaria. I guess that's on my radar now.
Dude, if I was telling this to Chrissy, I was like, dude, you could have a solid bachelor party over here. Like someone could have and she goes, and the people here would love it because they would know you're here for that. Like a bunch of American dudes over here having a bachelor party.
That'd be sick, actually.
The bars would like probably go out of their way to make sure you're having a blast here because they know like.
Doing stuff like that in obscure areas is probably the way to go about it, right? It's like, what are the areas that like
probably because for one too, those areas know you're taking a ballsy move to make this, so they want you to have a good time. Two, you're gonna have a lot of money coming in, like all of you to make this trip over here like this. You're gonna have money. And three, they just like the thing too with Bulgaria is like they all want you to have a good time wherever you're going. Like if you go somewhere, they're gonna make sure you get food. Yeah. Do you want a beer? Do you have anything? I want to make sure you're
family vibe. Take care of. We're gonna love on you.
We want to make sure you're having the best time while you're here. So like anywhere you go. So the people of Bulgaria are amazing. I loved every time plan that we were there. I'm glad when I go back now, I have a little bit more understanding of kind of the way things. Oh, the last part too is like I got to drive while I was over there too. Everything's like normal driving over there, but everyone hyped up like it's dangerous, man. You got to be careful. Like it's going to be like people don't. And there's a couple times you saw it happen where it was like that could have been a bad accident.
Yeah,
but all it was just like it was like if there was like instead of being on the American road and like 1 out of 100 people might be drunk, it was like 1 out of 20 might be drunk driving around. You know.
A little bit more of an obstacle course.
So you got to be a little bit more hands-on. But I give the people of Bulgaria so much respect because I'm a fast driver and I would come flying down the road up on the highway. Every single person moved to the right.
That's nice.
There wasn't people hanging out in that left lane or nothing. Trucks all stayed to the right. That's the most respectful driving I've ever seen. And I love every second of it, man. Like I wish... People in America need to learn how to drive like that.
So high marks.
High marks on their drive. Everyone said this is going to be dangerous. You got to be careful. I'm like, that's the best driving from people I've ever seen. I don't care if they're drunk. They were moving out of the way for me.
Everyone's take care of one. Man, well, it's good to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. We're getting ready now, too, for Burning Man.
Mm-hmm.
A few more weeks. It's going to be awesome. Woo! That's a lot of planning. I thank God you and Ty were taking on a lot of that planning for that. So while I was out of the country, because my bandwidth out there I was trying, and it was work and go visit Bulgaria. Go visit Bulgaria.
Yeah, you got to soak it up, man. All right. Well, hey, everyone, this upcoming month, we got some of the biggest guests from a fanboy standpoint that I've ever been excited for. So, hey, if you want to check out, these are going to be like psychedelic business leaders and whatnot. We are really, really excited for that. But also so excited just to be back recording. Took a month off and now we're back. So, hey, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And we'll have some fresh, hot pancake presses coming for you the next couple of weeks. Love you guys.
Peace.